Why can't I stop overeating? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. Today, welcome. My name is John Hoff with My Low Carb Coach. Thanks for being here. Be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel because, hey, I make videos, and if you're trying to lose weight and you want to find some health tips, nutrition tips, mental tips for losing weight, subscribe to my channel. And, follow me on Facebook too if you like. Anyways, okay, so let's get on with it. Why can't I stop overeating? This is one that people ask me sometimes when they first come on as a new client. And the thing is everybody's a little bit different, okay? Why one person can't stop overeating could be a little different in some regards to others. Now, there's some things that are kind of typically goes on with most people. And the first one I'm going to start with is your gut microbiome. Okay, number one is your gut, the little microbes inside your stomach, your colon. Okay, these are the probiotics like that you think about and stuff. When we have been consuming a diet that is not really that healthy, okay, and let's just say lots of sugar. Let's say you drink sodas, high fructose corn syrup, just like I did for the better part of my life. What did I do? I had 2, maybe 3 sodas a day. I would have ice cream, I would have Snicker bars, I would have chips, I would have all kinds of bread. And I'm not saying you can never have bread or anything. I'm just saying I like overconsumed bread and everything. But And what happens to carbohydrates if you don't use them? Like carbohydrates get turned into sugar in the body, right? And if you don't use it, it gets stored as fat, blah, 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 blah. Well, our gut microbiome, okay, we have these little microbes in there, okay, microbiota. And there's different strands and strains of them. Different strains of them. And they feed on the food that we put in there. And if you have a poor diet, if you're eating a lot of junk food, you're going to have gut bacteria that really, really likes sugar. And they when you stop consuming the sugar, okay, they're going to get mad. And that gut bacteria is very important for your health. Look at it like this. They say about 70% of your immune system is in the gut, okay? Based on gut microbiome, the state of your gut. And these little bacteria in there, they get very agitated when you don't give them what they want. So if you stop sugar, if you stop eating a certain kind of food that you really loved and enjoyed, part of the problem could be your gut microbiome really, really craving those things. And it's very hard to overdo that, to just like with willpower and motivation to eat properly in a certain amount when they're down there saying, give me more, give me more. Just biologically, it's very difficult, okay? Number 2 reason why is our brain, okay? So we talked about the gut, and we talked about brain. Here's a little side note here. They interact. In fact, they call your gut your second brain. Those things really influences what happens up here, all right? But on the neurotransmitter side of things, hormone side of things, there's things like dopamine, okay? And then there's things with serotonin and melatonin, and these things all affect mood, sleep, some things directly, some things indirectly. In other words, if you don't get good sleep, melatonin, then what are you more likely to be like the next day? A little irritated and stuff, right? Well, if you don't get good sleep, what else happens? You might overconsume food the next day. Why? Well, because you don't have as much control. And there's a number of reasons that those things happen. One of the things, when you don't get good sleep, your blood sugar will likely be more how shall I say, volatile, so more reactive to foods that you eat. And we've learned in the past that when your blood sugar goes up, then we don't want it to stay up, right? What happens? Insulin comes in and says, drop the blood sugar down. Well, the problem is you go up and you don't just come right back down to normal. Listen, life would just be too easy if it just worked like that. No. The universe, nature, whoever you want to say, is playing this big thing on us where when your blood sugar spikes up, it comes back to baseline and it keeps going. Why does it have to do that? Look, it's just life, right? So what happens when your blood sugar, this is baseline. What happens when blood sugar dips way down? What happens? You get food cravings. Your body's looking for energy and you want to eat more food. So, wow, I got off the dopamine part, but we're talking about hormones here. Okay. Insulin came in, driving your blood sugar down. And when that happens, you're going to be looking for food. And it's really hard to say no when everything in your body and your biology is saying, yes, find more food for me. Okay. And then, like I said, dopamine. Look, dopamine's kind of like the feel good, right? I want to feel good. I'm happy. And I don't know about you, but when I eat sugar, when I consume sugar, when I have like a coffee, and if I put some sugar and sweetener in it and I drink it, I feel a little, I don't know, happier maybe. When I eat ice cream, I'm a little happier maybe. We're all a little bit different, but that's the general idea here, is that this sugar that we're consuming, whatever the food is, if it's triggering that dopamine, right? And it's giving you that sense of satisfaction and relief. And then when that goes away, what do we want more of? We want more of it. We want to feel better. And sometimes we're not even happy unless we're consuming that food. And then it's like, think about it, drugs. Then it comes down to like, you start consuming, your body kind of gets used to the amount that you were having, right? Our bodies are very adaptive, which is a very good thing, by the way. But in today's world of over-consuming and just being able to have food whenever we want it, it's not always a good thing. So what happens when we're consuming, let's just say donuts every day? Do one donut every day. It's great. After a while, one donut might not do the same it used to do for you a year ago. Now you need 2 donuts to feel the way you did a year ago. It's kind of what I hear. I don't smoke, but I hear it's kind of like that with cigarettes. You kind of get used to the one. You don't get the buzz as much as you used to when it was newer, right? Our bodies adapt. And so what do? You look for more. You got to have a little bit more. And then there's the overconsuming of outside of biology. It's still kind of biology, but we're talking habits, your behaviors, okay? So these are things that it's not your gut bacteria. Well, to some extent maybe because it's influencing your brain, but it's just kind of habitually what you do. So what I'm saying is you grab your plate of food and you're used to seeing the whole plate be filled with food. You're used to eating a salad. Last night, my wife made a salad for us, and it was a big bowl of salad. And I'm used to eating a big bowl of salad, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. My point is that if you're used to seeing lots of food on your plate, then that's just kind of what you do, right? That's just what you do. So then you try to reduce the amount of food on your plate, and what happens? Ugh, I need more food. Just visually, mentally thinking about it, and then the whole chemical thing happens in the body that you need more food. These things all play in unison, right? All fighting against us. And then there's some of the behaviors of, what do you do when you're bored? You're bored. You just reach in a pantry, grab some chips, and then you sit down and you're not thinking about how many chips you have and you're watching Netflix and you're just like, yeah, that's great. Oh, I probably should put these chips down. What else is on? Let's just eat some more straight out of the bag. And we're not having the awareness that we're over consuming the food in the moment. And then maybe we have that awareness, but we can't stop. Why? Because of the first things that I mentioned early on. Things play in such harmony with each other. And that harmony is not necessarily the harmony that we always want, right? It can also be like overeating could be, I did a video on, are you using food as a coping mechanism? Because sometimes, we're using it because we're sad, and food is a tool. It's a tool to make us feel better. Now, not to feel better like I was talking about earlier, where, ice cream just, wow, it makes me feel good. But I'm talking about, you had a bad day, you got yelled at work or something, and food is your escape. And if that's happening, then you very well could be overeating. And then what happens is, like I said, it all works in unison, because that little bit here, this habit of you doing this little bit here, you get upset, you're angry, so then you eat, and those things play into then that whole thing we talked about before, your gut bacteria, and you're just used to eating more food, and then when these things happen, especially if the food is not healthy food, okay, if it's like heavily processed foods, then what was I going? I was going somewhere with that, and now I just lost it. But I am going to get it back here in just a moment. Let me pull that back in, that thought. Okay, now I remember. See, I pulled it back in. All right, I talked about hormones before. Okay, so when you're eating those kinds of foods, they affect your hormones. Now, we always talk about in the weight loss world, insulin, like we want to keep insulin low so we can burn fat for fuel. But that's not the only player in town when it comes to your weight. Things like leptin and ghrelin, these are two hormones that are hunger hormones. Ghrelin says you're hungry. Leptin says that you're full. You don't need any more food. Right now, my ghrelin is going because I'm hungry. But if we're eating foods that are disrupting this mechanism of the signals, telling your brain and receiving the signals like leptin, you can get what's called leptin resistance, okay? And again, our bodies are very adaptive, which is a good thing, just not a good thing when we have in this world excess of everything that we want. So leptin resistance. Leptin is something that it's the hormone that says, it tells your brain, hey, whoa, let's put the brakes on everything, okay? It tells your body, let's put the brakes on everything. I'm full. I don't need to eat any more food. Now, if you are having an what's the word I'm looking for there? If you're having too much leptin being pumped into the body, okay, too much of the hormone leptin circulating, then you can start getting what's called leptin resistance. It's kind of like insulin resistance, where insulin is the fat storage hormone. So if you have too much sugar in your bloodstream, and it's not being used, then the hormone insulin is secreted to push that sugar into your cells. The problem is your cell might only be this big, okay? And what happens when it's full? It doesn't want to take any more sugar. But insulin, you keep saying insulin, there's blood sugar because they keep eating too much food. There's too much sugar going on, too much food with lots of sugar and carbs or something in it, right? And so insulin comes out and says, okay, let's go here. And the cell goes, hey, I am full. I don't have any more room to store sugar away as fat. So what it will start doing, it has these little receptors on it for insulin. It senses insulin out there. And then it just starts going like this. You know what? I'm just going to stop listening. And now you've got one receptor for insulin. And you start getting insulin resistance because the insulin's bouncing, it can't find anywhere to go. There's no receptors to accept it. And this happens with leptin. Our cells stop listening, okay? And when that happens, you overeat. Why? Because there's no shutoff mechanism saying that you're full. And this comes down to a lot of what kind of food you're eating, how much food you're eating, okay? Try going and eating more whole foods, and that should help a lot, okay? So it all kind of plays together. There's no one particular answer I can give for every single person. It is a little bit on an individual basis. The challenge there then, for me as a coach, is to help people figure out for themselves what possibly is causing this overeating to happen. Here's the good news is, sometimes you don't have to always know how something works in order to fix it, okay? Most people probably don't know that the sun burns hydrogen into helium. I'm a big science guy. I love astronomy. I used to have a telescope back there you could see and everything. But farmers don't need to know that to grow a crop. And the same thing if you're trying to lose weight. You don't have to know how all the hormones work in the body in order to lose weight. Sometimes you just need to know, what do I need to do? The awareness of key things, though, is good because you've gotten this awareness from this video of what's happening in the body. There's this that can happen and this can happen. And then you can start looking at what you're doing and say, is that doing that? Because then you can start writing in a journal or something. You can start reprogramming your mind on how to change your focus, how to change your energy. I have on the books to do a video on this, but I'm going to tell you right now that everything is energy, vibration, and alignment. And you might not know what all those things are, but just take energy for a moment. You can usually sense when you walk in a room who the happy person is. You might be able to sense who the socially awkward person is. Okay? They're putting off that vibe, right? There's an energy about them. And then you can see who's the star of the show, who's the person who comes in and they're talking and they're having friends and they're this and this, very sociable and everything. The extroverts, they have an energy that they're putting out. And this is where we really start going deep into the overeating thing, okay? What is your energy? Because if it is one of somebody who overeats, what are you going to do? Okay, so if you are projecting the energy of an introvert, what are you going to do at a party? Not really talk to people, right? If you have the energy of somebody who struggles with their paycheck or bills, they live paycheck to paycheck, and you keep putting out the energy of, I need to make more money. Okay, need, this is going on a big tangent here, but it circles around. It's the under thing that is the most important. It's the base of everything I talked about in the video already. When you say that you need something, you're saying you don't have it. So in other words, if you say, I need to stop over consuming. Yes, that is a true statement. And yes, it's okay to say it. Don't keep saying it. If you keep saying it, then you keep reaffirming that you need to get it fixed and that it's not fixed. All right? So one of the keys to fixing the overconsumption of food, the overeating, one of the fixes, and I think is the place to start because you can do it now, is to start changing the energy you have around it. What do you believe about yourself and overeating and food? Okay? And let's rewrite the story. Let's rewrite the story. Now, if an introvert wants to become an extrovert, they need to start producing the same kind of energy that the extrovert has. If somebody wants to get themselves out of debt, they need to start producing and having the energy that somebody who is not in debt, somebody who is in control of their finances, somebody who does make that kind of money, they need to match that energetic signature. What you say, the words you say, the thoughts you have are going to form up what you see in the outside world. So if you're over consuming food, then you're going to need to change the energy inside your body, your thoughts. And when you can do that, you will find that you start to reshape how things are on the outside, okay? This is the real work. Everyone wants to know those first things I talked about. And if you're still watching this video, congratulations, 22 minutes. But this is actually the most important work, so really should be listening up here because everybody wants to hear about the little things. Oh, well, don't consume this food, or there's the gut bacteria, there's the dopamine, okay? And those things matter, but if we dial it back a little bit, it starts with you. It always starts with you. So you have to change the energy. Okay? So I hope I've given you some things to think about. There could be other reasons why you are over-consuming. Things like social. You know, you go out to dinner and perhaps you want to be a people pleaser. You want to fit in. Everyone else is eating all those things. I should be eating those things. I don't want to look odd. Everyone's eating pizza and fries and appetizers and this, and here I am with my little salad. Or, and it doesn't have to be like that. It could be, you can have steak. You can have maybe a potato or something. Unless you're doing like a very low carb diet, skip the potato, do vegetables. We don't always realize that we have those options. And sometimes we're trying to please other people. We're trying to fit in. And sometimes that is mind reading at its best. Don't be a mind reader. For all you know, those people are eating those things because they think that you want to be eating those things and they're trying to please you. You ever think of that? All right. So there's a number of reasons why you could possibly be overeating and some ways to change it, which is by changing your energy. That's a whole other conversation that I work more with clients on, okay? Because, there's all the things you need to know, but if you really need to get into the details of how to do the change and everything, that's where you click on the link in the content area and get on my wait list, because I will be opening doors soon for Powered by Nutrition, where I help people lose weight. And we do that through changing their focus. We do that by changing behaviors and then also taking a look at nutrition. Okay. All right. I'll see you in another video. Don't forget, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook, My Low Carb Coach, and I'll see you in another video.